This video will talk about Block 4. Block 4 has two assignments that you will be completing. The first one is similar to the one that you have been doing, which is the Understanding Comics Perusal Annotations. So we're moving on to Chapter 4, paying attention to concepts presented in McLeod and how they apply to the things that we're reading. The next thing, which you'll see is in bold, is complete response paper number 1. Now, the reason it is in bold is because it is what I would say a major assignment. It is worth a fairly significant amount in terms of points or percentages for the course. Each response paper is 7.5% of your final grade, or 75 points. So basically anything 75 points or higher, I will bold in the block outlines. And if I scroll down, you'll see some of those. Response paper 2, mini project, response paper 3, response paper 4, video analysis, and then reflective essay. So those are the major assignments that are worth a significant amount of points. Of course, the other assignments do add up. Now, the response paper is an integral part to this course. So let me click into Block 4, and let's talk about that a little bit. So the response paper is something that you'll do for each of the graphic narratives that we read in this course. Let me click on the response paper directions. Here you see the directions, and what you will see is some basic things that we're looking for. Things like the word count, things like the basic idea of some of the things we're looking for. So I will read starting here. In this paper, you will communicate your own view on some aspect or aspects of the text. From my experience, the best responses incorporate some discussion of graphic storytelling techniques a la Scott McLeod, and your own experience with the text. And as we progress, the best responses may refer back to compare, contrast, connect graphic novels from earlier in the course. In other words, I would like to see some discussion of McLeod concepts that apply to the texts when they come up. I would like also to see some discussion about your own experience reading the text. Impressions, first impressions, impressions once you finished it, etc. I'm very interested in how you respond to this storytelling medium. So, as I said here, there is a word count that we're looking at. I'm asking that you do use MLA style basic formatting, and then I'm asking that you do proofread. Now, one thing that I will show you in a second is you will be submitting the paper in 2 spots. So the first one will be the one that goes to me as a normal assignment, which is one that only I will see and where I can provide feedback directly onto the submission. And the second one is the discussion board, where you'll be able to share your response paper with your classmates, and in which they will in turn respond to your response paper, and you'll respond to theirs. I've included here my own sample response paper for Mouse. I've also included a complete set of student responses from previous semester, just so you can see the type of thing that has worked in the past and the type of thing that you can do. And I think the student does a really good job of sort of hitting upon some of the key things in terms of conceptual frameworks from McLeod, personal experience, and even some analysis of themes in the text. So it can give you a sense of where to go. Now, I also want to bring up that I'm going to be using a very simplified grading system for this. In other words, what I'd love is if I could just give everyone full credit for this assignment, for each of the 4. To do that, to earn full credit, it needs to meet some basic requirements. So it needs to be within the word count, reasonably error-free, right? It would be evident that you spent some time proofreading these and you didn't just sort of throw it out there and not spend some time to make sure things made sense. It has to be your own work. It has to be related to the text at hand. So if we're reading mouse, your response has to be related to mouse. It says something interesting, and I really mean that. Now, everybody hopefully will say something interesting within that, within those parameters. But I really want you to focus on thinking about what is going to be interesting to the reader, to the instructor, but also to your classmates. That is really an indicator of good writing. And I want to focus more on that aspect than some of the mechanical aspects. It should be reasonably comprehensible. I don't know if it could be I don't know if it could not be comprehensible and still say something interesting, but the idea here is that it makes sense. And then it should be turned in on time as well to get the full credit. And the goal, the reason for this simplified system is really, I don't want you to be worried about getting a good grade on it. I want you to be worried about saying something interesting. I want you to focus on that, connections to the text, things that it makes you think of, whatever it may be. But that should be your focus, not about trying to figure out what it is that I want to earn the best grade. And I'm hoping that this will result in some more interesting writing that will be interesting for me and for your classmates. So that's the basic premise for this. You take the text and then you say something about it. It's really a chance to really share your thoughts on a text, put your ideas out there. So I'm going to go back into block 4. Now, this is just to reiterate what I just previously said about submitting it in 2 places. So you will submit it here, a docx file or PDF file. That's the one for me to comment on and to assign a grade. And then the second spot is where you will upload your own response paper. You'll upload the same response paper that you uploaded to me. This will be viewable by your classmates. So I can click on that. You see, I uploaded mine as well. I also created attached the PDF so it's easier to view for people, but also copy and paste it in the text box so that people can view it that way. Now, when you get here, you will just create your own thread, and then you'll enter your subject or your title here, and then attach your file. You can do that in 2 ways. The way I did it was using the plus sign and insert local files, and then I also copied and pasted. I do suggest that you spend some time thinking about your title as a way to draw your classmates in to read your paper. Because it's very possible that your classmates will skim the titles and pick and choose the ones that are going to be the most interesting to them. So this is a time for you to also sort of advertise your work through an interesting, but also accurate and descriptive title. So that takes us through the basics of block 4. The main thing is really the response paper. That's the bigger one, but also to continue your work with understating comments and your comics and your commenting on and discussing different things even within perusal. That is also helpful.